At this point, Storygraphs just needs to recommend me fictional, dark, fast-paced books, because that's what I like. I read a lot of dark books. Hello and good morning. Well, it may not be morning where you are, but it's 8 a.m. where I am. I have a busy day ahead of me today. My husband is on a business trip, so it is just me and the kids. I just got my daughter on the bus, and I'm home with just my son. Right on cue. Hi. So hopefully my house will be a little bit on the quieter side, but I did want to do an April wrap up. I need a better tripod. This tripod sucks. I have been tracking my reading through Goodreads, and it's been about 2-3 months that I've been using Goodreads. I'm a very much like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of person. So when I started with Goodreads, I was with Goodreads just to track what books I'm finishing, what books I want to read, etc. But when I was thinking I should do an April wrap up because I've read some pretty good books this month. No, Cairo, you can't touch the camera. I got some pretty good reading in this past month. I want to see, what it would be like to film a wrap up for April. But from what I was seeing, there wasn't a way to see what books I specifically read for each month. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I don't remember what book started April for me. So I'm like, F it, I'm gonna have to try something else. So I downloaded Storygraph. I was able to import all of my data from Goodreads, which was amazing because I thought I was gonna have to manually put in all the books that I read and how long it took me and that sort of thing. Didn't have to do that. But then also the way they graph all of the data, like how many pages you've read, what genre each book is in, like, is top tier. Why did nobody tell me about Storygraph? No, I'm pretty sure somebody told me about Storygraph. But like I said, I'm a if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of chick. And I was like, Goodreads works for me. Didn't even bother to check out anything else. Now that I have Storygraph, Goodreads is over with. This is not sponsored, so let me shut up. Maybe they'll sponsor me one day, but Storygraphs is for me. That's the only reason that I'm able to complete this video today. So shout out to Storygraph because they're really coming in clutch today. Okay, so let's see, where should we start? So books I read this April. I read a total of 2,378 pages, which was a total of 15.85 hours of reading. That is crazy. The main genre that I read from was thriller, which makes sense because I'm very much into thriller books. I love suspense. I love being kept on the edge. I love not knowing. I like to not know. I like to be surprised, where I'm like,
he did what? She's who? That's her dad?
I like stuff like that. But before we get into that, let's get to the titles and see what I read. Can you just list the books I read? All these graphs are great. Like, don't get me wrong. I read 11 books. No touch. Come on, Cairo. No touching, okay? No touch, okay? So starting with dark, we have Do Not Disturb. Oh my God. Do Not Disturb by Frieda McFadden. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And I think I'm gonna actually do a specific video on just Frieda McFadden novels. I do plan on reading all of them and then ranking them. So I'll just leave it at that. I read Do Not Disturb and I rated it 4 stars. Do Not Disturb is fiction thriller and it's considered dark and fast-paced. I read House of Agnes by Fiona Zedde. That book I rated 5 out of 5 stars. Shh. The plot of the book was so unique. It's really different. It's like no other book I've read before. The plot wasn't too different, but in terms of like, I don't want to give too much away, but in terms of the characters of the book, the main character in the book, who Agnes herself is, what House of Agnes even is very, very unique, and I love that. Like, I wish House of Agnes existed in real life. If you know, you know. It is LGBTQ friendly as well. It's heavily LGBTQ. Heavily L. I'll say that. It's really, really good. House of Agnes is fiction, LGBTQIA+, romance, dark, and medium paced. I'm noticing that I tend... What's wrong? I'm noticing that I tend to prefer faster paced books. I don't like getting into nitty gritty details, and it's taking way too long for us to get to action and things moving. So I did like that about House of Agnes, but it is a book where you need to pay attention. If you're not paying attention for a couple pages, you will be lost. You'll be lost. I also read More Than You'll Ever Know by Katie Gutierrez. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars, but looking back on it, it was better than a 3-star. Looking back on it, I would like to give it a 4.5 stars. I think that an interesting concept. It was different, where it had a true crime feel to it, but wasn't actually true crime. And the story was good. It was one of those things where you thought, you think, or at least for me, I thought I knew the answer. I thought I knew who the killer was. Let me not say that. Not cute. Yeah, I thought I knew who it was. But I was wrong. The whole book, I'm like, all right, let's get to it. Because I know it was either her or him. And then we get to the very last chapter, and it ain't. It's considered a fiction, mystery, thriller, dark, slow-paced. I will agree. It was slow-paced. There was a lot of stuff in there where I'm like, okay. We know. It's him or her. Let's go. Get to it. But, again, they had a long, very slow workup to then find out that it wasn't who we thought it was. And I think the slower pace is why I rated it 3 stars. But in Goodreads, it doesn't tell you if something's slow-paced or fast-paced. So for me, I can't actually see the review that I left, but, I can. Oh no, I just rated it stars. I didn't write anything. Then we have The Perfect Son by Freida McFadden. I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars. It's considered, I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. Let me see if I can remember exactly why. It did have a great twist to it. I found myself in a little bit of a rut this month, feeling like a lot of mystery books just drag and drag and drag and drag and drag and drag. You know? And some mystery books have a vibe of there was a page requirement. You know when you're in English and they say, we're writing an essay and I need your essay to be 3 pages. And I need your introduction paragraph to have, I need your intro paragraph to have an attention getter, 3 supporting sentences, your thesis. And so when you're given those guidelines and specific lengths to meet, you end up just dragging and writing unnecessary things just to meet the length requirement, and it's not, and therefore it causes it not to feel condensed. It feels like a long version of a quality writing. It feels like a long version of a quality body of work, if that makes sense. And I got into this rut, especially after reading The More Than You Know, More Than You'll Ever Know. Like, after that, I was like, come on, this is just really dragging. And actually, on Storygraphs, it says that this is a fiction mystery thriller and that it's dark and fast-paced. I don't know about fast-paced. Maybe medium-paced. I wouldn't say it's necessarily slow, but I think it wasn't fast enough for me. And there was just stuff in it where I felt like it wasn't really necessary. I did like that the book left us on a cliffhanger. So perhaps she will write a part 2. After that book, I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I rated it 3 stars out of 5. Okay, you want me to rock you? Let me think back to The Perfect Marriage. Oh, yeah, I know why I gave it 3 stars. Yet again, I feel like it was another book that, I don't know, it just dragged for me. I guess I wasn't really into it. I also felt like they did share quite a bit of history about the characters, but I didn't feel a connection with either of the main characters. I didn't find myself rooting for one or the other. I felt like a bystander when I read this book. I didn't have a favorite character. I didn't have a least favorite character. And although the book does a great job of keeping you in suspense in terms of who done it, when you find out who actually done it, you're like, duh. I feel that it was like a disappointing ending. And that's unfortunate because I heard really, really good reviews about this book. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't terrible. I felt like it didn't really match my vibe. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars, and on Goodreads it's considered fiction, mystery, thriller, dark, fast-paced. I read a lot of dark books. I also read The Teacher by Freida McFadden. I rated this book a 4 out of 5. I rated it 4 out of 5 simply because the amount of twists and turns in this book was perfect to me. This is what I'm used to. And with The Teacher, Freida McFadden, she did the thing. She did the thing with The Teacher. Because even at the end, I had some questions like, so wait, how did she not know that he was in high school? And how was he buying her all them shoes? Freida McFadden did it with that one. I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars because I didn't have the best high school experience, and I think that any book that is set in high school, I'm immediately turned off. I don't like the banter. She was, dealing with high school drama, people talking about her like, ugh, I can't stand high school. To do all 4 years of high school again, all 4 years, 500,000. 500,000, I'll do high school again. But other than that, absolutely not. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars just off of my own bias, where I'm like, I could care less for this little high school pettiness. There was a character up in there that needed her butt kicked, and I wasn't here for it. My final dark category book was Gucci Guilty by my girl Ashley Antoinette. 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, listen. Guilty Gucci, listen. Anything Ashley Antoinette is gonna take the cake. It just is what it is for me. I feel like the characters are very relatable. I feel that, and maybe it's because it's an urban fiction book, it's more relatable for me. I didn't grow up necessarily in an urban area, but as a woman of color, as a black woman, I truly just appreciate characters where I'm like, we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like the thought process, the things that they're going through, the way their parents handle certain things. We're here. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for me to put myself in that frame of mind. When a main character is a race other than my own, it takes a little bit more for me to connect with the character. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just things that are just like different. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I still read books of other ethnicities. But something about Ashley Antoinette, like even if you are not a black woman, a black man, even if you're not even a person of color, I think Ashley Antoinette's books are worth the read, even if it's just one book. And Guilty Gucci, let me tell you, is deep and dangerous, and it's immediate. Like the very first few pages of the book, I was like, oh my God. It was deep and dangerous. It was deep and dangerous. Guilty Gucci is good. Good. There were a few, there were a couple of twists, and none of them were major. But I do believe that this was one of Ashley Antoinette's first published books. So for it to be that early in her repertoire, I'm like, girl, you did that. I was all in. I am on a mission to read all of Ashley Antoinette's books. She has a lot of books. I don't know how exactly I'm going to do that, but Ashley Antoinette deserves her own video, and she's going to get one from me. She deserves it. Guilty Gucci, 5 stars. 5. You hear me? It's considered fiction, dark, and fast-paced. All the things I love. When you come to my channel, that is what you're getting. Fiction, dark, and fast-paced. Give it to me. Give it to me. Okay, so that's it for my dark books. There were 7 dark books for April. I also read the book Homebodies, which is... How do I describe Homebodies? Homebodies is a good read. I will say that there's not any twists and turns. There's no mystery to it. And at first when I realized that, I'm like, am I even gonna finish this book? But I did. It was just a story about a lesbian woman of color who was really just trying to find herself. And I think that overall it was a good story. I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. Only because it's not my cup of tea. But I could see, if you're just looking for something casual to read in passing, the only catch or the only pull of the book is really to figure out if she's gonna make it through this emotional event in her life. And that's considered fiction, contemporary, LGBTQIA+, literary, emotional, medium pace. If you are the type of person that liked Black Girls Must Be Magic, Black Girls Must Die Exhausted, it's relationship heavy. You know, you've got the relationship with friends, you've got intimate relationships, you've got parent relationships that the main character is navigating. That is that type of book. And it's not necessarily... I'm sorry for the noise, y'all. My son is right next to the camera. Let me move. And if that's what you're into, that's cool. It's very much giving...
My girlfriends, through thick and thin, my girlfriends.
But is it really good? Is it good? Did we ever finish Girlfriends as a series? Maybe you did, and I'm not judging. But I made it about 3 episodes in, and I'm like, okay. This is why I don't have friends. It wasn't the most relatable for me. But I did enjoy it for what it was. And I appreciated the fact that we got to hear from a perspective of a successful Black woman in journalism, which I thought was great. When I was younger, I did want to be a journalist at one point, so that was nice to see. And also for the main character to be a lesbian, I thought was really good. I thought that was an interesting touch. What are you doing? I also read Femme Like Her by Fiona Zedde. Oh, they've got Femme Like Her, Stud Like Her, Just Like Her. Interesting. So yeah, I read Femme Like Her, which is number 1 in a series of 3 books. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. It was very eye-opening for me. I don't know why I thought women on women relationships, you didn't have to deal with like nutty stuff that guys do. But let me just say, women lost points for me on this one, because I'm like, who knew women play games like this? Because I'm sorry, if I'm dating someone and I ask you a question and you don't give me the whole honest truth, you're lying. There was a situation where one of the women asked the other woman a specific question that she could have answered honestly, that would have avoided a lot of confusion, avoided a lot of drama in their relationship. But this woman lied. In my opinion, she lied. If you have read this book, let me know down in the comments if you think this woman lied or if she was in the right to hold back the information that she was holding back. Because I'm like, this is too many games. So something's up with Shorty. If I was dating a man like this, or if my friend was dating a man like this, I would tell them, run. And I had no idea that lesbians be playing the same type of games. I don't know. I just thought women were just so superior. I had higher expectations, and I am disappointed to hear that women be out here doing this to other women. What is up with y'all? Y'all need to get it together. Women ain't supposed to be doing other women like that. I thought men act like that. That was very eye-opening and disappointing for me. But Femme Like Her, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It is fiction, LGBTQIA+, romance, emotional, medium paced. It is worth the read. I definitely didn't put all my books in for April. There's actually a couple more that I know I read. I don't know why it's not in here. But whenever I get it figured out, I will just include it in my May wrap up. Is what it is. So my May wrap up, the number of books might be 2 or 3 off, and I'll try to remember which ones are actually from April. I think I just didn't enter them into Goodreads, and that may be why. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any books that you would recommend, please let me know down in the comments. Please don't recommend no slow pace. I tried to get into A Court of Thorns and Roses. Girl, no. Way too slow. I finished the first book. I did give it a full shot, but no. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will check out some of the books that I read. And if you have read the books that I've read, then let me know down in the comments what you rated them out of 5 stars if it's different from what I rated them. Let me know your opinion. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos that I have. But yeah, with that, that's all I had to say today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Know you see this red on me. Now come and get 20, 40, 80 off the trap. Hit it with the rap. Put it on the map. We'll be right back. Call me when you wanna get 20 Montana with the racks. I be